In this video, you'll discover the 3.5 simple but powerful exercises to think faster and speak smarter than 93% of people. They take less than 10 minutes every day, but if you stick to them for just 14 days, you sound sharper, more confident, and more articulate than ever before. First exercise. Now, when you're asked about something you know and care, well, it's pretty easy, right? Words just flow, it's simple. But real life isn't always that predictable. When someone asks you about something that you have no clue about, well, oftentimes your brain goes into freeze mode, right? You fumble, you ramble, you just get lost. In those moments, you just wish that you just had a few more seconds. And that's where the first exercise comes in so handy. The instant POV switch. That exercise trains you to think clearly when you are under pressure. Now here's how it works. First, you want to pick any random debate topic, something like remote work versus non-remote work or office work, or pineapple on pizza, or using AI in schools. Then you set a timer. Take your phone and set a timer that beeps every 20 seconds. And first, you then start passionately arguing for one side. But then after 20 seconds, when the beeper goes, well, then you switch and start arguing for the complete opposite side. And then you just repeat that a few rounds. But let me give you an example. Let's say the topic was remote work versus office work. Now here's how I could start arguing for remote work. Remote work is the future. It lets you build your life around work and not the other way around. I used to spend 2 hours commuting to work every single day. Now I can use that time to relax, grow, and refocus on the things that actually matter. But now the beeper goes, I switch and I argue for the other side. But hey, being in the office, that's what really builds trust. You can sense someone's energy. One time I actually solved a project's issue just by running into a teammate in the kitchen. That would have never happened on Slack. Do you see how that works? You're training your brain to explore ideas quickly and to speak with confidence under pressure. Second exercise. One of the superpowers in communication is the ability to take a complex idea and bring it to life. And the fastest way to do that is through a metaphor or analogy. The moment you give someone a vivid comparison, they'll get it. Sure, sometimes you have time to come up with those metaphors, but the real magic happens when you can come up with them on the spot. And this is what this next exercise trains, the metaphor blitz. Now here's how it works. Now, you can pick any ordinary activity from your day, like brushing your teeth or making coffee or folding laundry, and then set the timer for 60 seconds. And in that time, just come up with as many comparisons as you can. Let's say you picked brushing your teeth as your starting point. Now this is how this exercise could look like. Brushing your teeth is like editing your first draft. It takes a little time, but it makes everything shine. Or brushing your teeth is like clearing out your inbox. Boring, but satisfying. Or brushing your teeth is like hitting reset every morning. You're wiping away yesterday and you're starting fresh. Now that's it. And just so that you know, you'll probably suck at first. Your brain might go completely blank, your metaphors might feel completely weak, but that's normal. Stick with this, because creativity is a muscle. And this one is one of the best ways to build that muscle. Third exercise. A couple of years ago, I was a product manager at Uber. And on this one day, I had to give this big presentation to senior stakeholders within the companies. And originally, I was told, hey, you have 30 minutes to give this speech. So I prepared obviously for 30 minutes. But then my manager showed up and he asked, hey, can you give that presentation in 5 minutes? And I was like, sure, yeah. But then instead of really thinking of what really matters, I just rushed through this presentation, boom, 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 covering every single point. After that, my manager came up to me and he said, Philipp, that sounded a little bit like you were doing the commentary on the soccer documentary. And at first I was mad at him. I thought fuck you, right? You made me give this speech in like 5 minutes. But then I realized it was actually my fault of trying to cramp in everything. And that next exercise I want to share solves that. The 3-level story. Now here's how it works. You can pick a real moment from your day. Maybe you had an interesting conversation, a challenging task, but don't worry, it doesn't have to be anything dramatic. Just take anything. And then first tell that story out loud in 2 minutes. After that, you tell it again, but this time in 1 minute. And then again, you tell it in 30 seconds. At first, this might feel a little bit difficult, but you're training your brain to find the core. You're learning to adapt an idea to different contexts, time limits, but also people. You'll become more flexible, more concise, and more in control. And then lastly, exercise 3.5. 2 years ago, I was in Mexico for a weekend with my friends when one of the guys had a brilliant idea. He turned on the TV and there was this Disney movie playing, Ratatouille. But then he muted the movie and said, well, each one of you has to pick now one character and improvise the dialogue of that character. I was like, wait, what? I don't even know that movie. I've never watched it. But he said, no, you'll do fine. And so my character was one of the rats, right? It was Remy. And each time that character now appeared, well, I had to instantly make up what that character was saying. Obviously, I had no clue, but I made it up. And at first, it was just chaos. But then it was so much fun. It clicked so much. And it was just a hilarious conversation that we had. It got so creative and we laughed so hard. But I also realized that this is an incredible way to train fast thinking and fast speaking. That exercise is called the narrator. You can do it with friends or you can actually do it alone. Just turn on the TV or Netflix, mute the show, pick a character, and then narrate whatever is happening. By doing that, you'll practice improvising, you'll practice reacting fast to whatever comes up and staying grounded when things might go wrong. This is such a superpower. So why 3.5 instead of 4? Well, because you don't do this every single day, right? But when you do it, it's magic. Today you learned 3.5 powerful exercises. If you do these consistently for just 14 days, you'll radically upgrade the way you speak. Now, speaking off the cuff is powerful, but the best communicators, they also respond with clarity. If you want to learn the same frameworks that I use to respond to really any situation, check out this next video. We'll walk you through some of my favorite frameworks. I see you there.